Okay. Are we good? Are we not good?
We are live for episode 60.
Okay.
Episode 60 of Slurp Toast the podcast. What's going on, man?
No, not a whole lot. Not a whole lot.
How's things in Kansas City?
They're there. Slow. We been working in the yard. We're gonna have like foundation repair done. So
Oh no, it's bad.
no. It's like just a little bit, but it's one of those things where you know it just we had it checked out and they're like, yeah, you got a little bit of settlement back on this corner, so we're gonna go ahead and get it addressed.
How
Amazingly,
does that
we
work with a basement?
so what they do is they dig down to the foundation and then they put little jacks and then
Mm,
they drive little jack stands down to the bedrock. So and then they'll
okay.
lift the house up. It's like I mean it's really not a whole lot, but it's one of those where you kind of walk around the house, you see some stuff and go, well that doesn't look right. And hey, what do you know? It wasn't. So
We had to have, before we sold our first house, we had to have some foundation work done. I remember that but we had one giant oak tree and it was in the corner of the backyard by the bedroom. So it had,
mhm.
that tree was probably there before the house was built. And so it had jacked up the foundation in that corner. So we had to have some work done on the foundation before we could sell it. Yeah, that probably have come a long way since then, would be my guess.
Yeah, so it's just a little bit, and I think these people did the gutters weird. They piped everything underground, but as we've come to find out, I asked them, market. I want to know where these things come out, so I can keep them clear of debris. And we
Mm-hmm.
never got it marked, and so we had some people who found them, and you're just kind of like, why did you bring it to here? Why not take it to the street? Why did you? You could just as easily
Where does it stop?
drop it. Oh, it's like 6 feet away from the house, but it's just in the middle of the grass. And so you guys, I don't know. I'm not happy with some of this stuff. It's like,
So you got
really,
some
you
really
guys?
green grass right there, I would assume.
Oh yeah, man, it looks great. Always grows, always long. It's awesome.
One big circle of really green grass.
Yes, that is exactly. It's just, I mean, it's one of those things where I keep saying I don't like home ownership because you're just kind of like, it's just it's always something, and I don't even care. It's yours at the end of the day. Fuck you. It's mine now, and it's not the end of the day, and I still don't like it. And I'm probably not going to like it at the end of the day. Get off my back, man. Don't. I already bought the house.
And yeah.
Keep your propaganda to
Uh,
yourself. So,
um,
what's that? You're kind of
house
cutting in and out again.
other than
Yeah.
this. I've not seen your house other than the little square for the podcast. You've got a full basement. Is it single story on top of that? Double, two story? I'm nosy and curious
Two,
now.
two, two,
So you're gonna
two.
have like a lot of empty space in that house in a few months, huh?
We have three 1,000 square foot apartments stacked on top of each other. And so if we so chose, we would don't have to see each other ever again.
And you're volunteering to take the basement.
Yeah. I mean, I got a microwave and a fridge. Just really need I mean, I don't even need the hot plate. So, yeah, pretty much.
It's magic. All right.
It is magic.
Did you get your daughter graduated?
She is graduated. She is out the door. She is,
She
yeah,
already
getting
she
ready
taking
to.
summer classes or just hanging out this summer?
No,
Don't know why I'm asking you about your
she's
daughter on the
working with me.
podcast. I apologize.
No. She's working with me. Not
Oh
that.
yeah.
Oh yeah. You know, so probably not the best for her. If and she's got,
Get to see a whole new side of dad.
well, yeah, something like that. I think it's more it's weird because Frank and I have her doing things that we can't get to, and they're really kind of terrible tasks. And you watch her doing it, and you're just like, yeah, there really is no joy in my job. As I'm watching her kind of slog through some of this stuff, you're sort of like, huh, I see my job in a whole new light, and it's not positive.
Thank you, thank you. I'll be playing with sound effects tonight.
There we go.
Yeah, Connor is
Yeah,
working. He's working for. He's doing like order fulfillment for a musician. They've got like an Austin musician who's got pretty. He's called Billy. His name is Billy Strings. Apparently, he's the hot new thing in bluegrass, and Connor's like doing merch fulfillment at his local warehouse. So he's doing real work.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it like a one man thing? I mean, it's just a guy, right? He doesn't have a team of
No,
people
like
doing merch.
there's three of them
Okay,
from
I
what I
guess.
understand.
Okay.
Like, yeah, the dude played 2 nights here. I mean, like I said, I think he's local, but he did 2 nights at like the big arena here this weekend, and apparently they're expecting a new line of merch in soon to get keep them busy. So I don't know.
Okay.
There was some discussion of him possibly going on the road to do merch sales when they go to Europe. Now we'll see if that pans out.
Okay. Now that would be fun.
Laura and I were like, "Yes, go." If they're going to pay to take you to Europe and to sling T-shirts, well, you have our blessing.
Yeah. Because what would that actually, yeah, that'd be kind of cool, I think, you know, because you get to, well, good for him.
Yeah, we'll see. Like I
Yeah.
said, there was some discussion. I think that's all it's been. But Jesus, my beard is out of control. All right, so I got to fix that after the podcast. So I was going to ask you about Guardians and Spidey, but you told me you haven't seen either of them. So we're going to just bypass that.
No, hopefully going to see Spidey this weekend or this week. Babe's going to France for like 15 days.
Okay.
It was a school trip, and so there's a bunch of them going. Um, yeah, so she'll be going about 15 days, and we're thinking the day we drop her off, we're gonna just take the whole day, go see Spider-Man. I guess they have a touring the Amazing Spider-Man exhibit.
Really?
So I might go check that out at the same time.
Well, Connor and I went to see Spidey this morning, and you're going to enjoy it. I'll just say that, and we may have to have a special Spidey episode after you see it, and we'll do that because I think it will require some conversation.
I love the first one, man. The first one was. I saw that one by myself and just in the theater, and I kept looking around. There's nobody close by for me to go, God damn, check that shit out. Wow. And you're like looking around, you're like, it's just me and that guy 4 rows back, and I think he's masturbating. So,
Well, I was doing that today. No, I'm just kidding.
What's this on my neck?
Just put it on the popcorn. I don't know. I will say the second one does not disappoint, but I'll leave it there because I don't want to ruin anything for you. But we might definitely have to do another one just to talk about that movie once you see it, because I think it's worthwhile content for us. So we'll do that later.
I do like the one scene they show, like in the trailers, where you have one Spider-Man on the couch. And it's like, and then Uncle Ben, and then the therapist is like, yes, and does he die?
Yeah,
or he dies, doesn't he?
And I think, having seen it, the therapist is the Spider-Man from Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. I think. And that's not going to really ruin anything for you. But yeah, we'll talk about that.
And then I guess they also have the scene where they say, Miles Morales is in the building, and all the Spider-Men are pointing each other like the meme.
Yeah, yeah. There were several moments where I laughed out loud, or there was a moment of, oh, they did that. Okay, that's fun. Well, that's cool. Yeah, it's got a lot of meta context to it, but without losing any of the visuals are just like the first one, just
Over
worth
the
the
top.
experience in and of themselves. Yeah, I will warn you because I
Mhm.
looked it up when we got home. It is the longest animated cinema.
Really?
8 hours and 20 minutes long. Yeah.
I'm sorry, how much?
So prepared.
Okay, 2.5 hours.
220.
Yeah, okay. I
Yeah.
can deal with that.
About twice of what I allotted this morning, but it's okay. Worth the time spent.
All right then.
So,
Nah, I'm
but you
looking
did
forward to
say
seeing
you've
it.
seen Ted Lasso, and I'm curious because
You're lagging
here
a
we go
little
again. All
bit
right,
on
I'm
me.
back. So
Okay.
when we were discussing, here I am. So you saw Ted Lasso, did you?
Yes, I did. And Ted Lasso,
Now, when you
yeah.
say that, have you watched the entirety, or
I've missed a
did you
few in the
did you watch the whole
middle.
thing?
I have missed a few in the middle. I'm from Fish Called Wanda.
Okay.
What's the part in the middle again? You know, but I've seen enough.
The squishy parts.
Yes. Uh, yes. The
Wait,
Buddhist
because
with the
I'm
Buddhist
curious
monks.
because I have been watching pretty much religiously since it came. Go ahead.
Hmm?
We're fighting the lag again. Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. Because I've got you like half question, half thing. I was a question. What have I thought of the show?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I enjoyed it. We're
Good.
going through management training right now. And so there's a lot of stuff in there that you're like, wow, this is like textbook stuff. Um, but I mean, all in all, yeah, no, I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it. Uh, yeah, I'll just go with that. It's been fun.
We were devoted Lasso fans, and I was really sad the other night when we watched the last one. It's like, oh no, it's over now. There's no more. Um, and I to Laura is not surprised by this, but I developed a huge crush on Hannah Waddingham. Um,
Yeah. Hell yeah.
yeah. My favorite is the darts scene from season one. That one stuck with me really as an ongoing crush, and I love that one a lot.
Oh, yes. About people not being curious. That's one of the ones that they play in our class.
Yeah,
You know, and it's like,
it's a
oh,
good one.
yeah.
Solid. I mean, oh God, I
It,
was.
again, laggy. Got nothing.
This is
I mean, do I freeze up on your
there.
end?
I go. Again. I think it is. But we're gonna soldier through. What else is? What have you read? Anything good? Watched anything good that you want to talk about?
I'll be honest, no.
It's gonna be a short podcast.
It may very well be. Um, although I've started work on the Silver Surfer Basketball Jones, making one of our own. Try and get that up on a slurp shot before SDCC.
There you go.
So you have a little
We can
cosmic
get two of those
band.
made.
Hmm. Oh yeah. Um, yeah. No. For Babe's graduation, and yeah, uh, we I did a poem. Like I've been really super busy. Did a poem for her stuff. Did a poem for her in the second grade, and then Kristen said you should illustrate that to give her to graduation, and I did. I didn't realize that it would take as long as it did, and then at the last minute, Kristen cut like a week out of my deadline time. So I had to do a preliminary
Oh
copy and
no.
then a final copy. Oh yeah, but for graduation, and this also counts as things on my desk, a lovely hard copy version of the book
Cool.
to give to her,
You did there.
you know.
Oh, and I see what you did there. Is it bound and everything?
Yeah, little hardback book. Yay, Snapfish. So yeah. You've completely locked up now. And he moved. And we're not moving again. You're cutting in out. Oh, yeah,
Can you see me now?
I can. You're very pixelated.
All right, so this is not going well.
Yeah.
I feel very pixelated. Um, so, well, I read something this weekend that I think you would really like.
Okay.
Eric
Hit me.
Powell, the guy
Hit me.
behind The Goon,
Uh-huh.
he did another series that I just found. It's called Hillbilly.
Okay. That sounds familiar.
It is it's very much his art style from The Goon, but it kind of reads like those early Hellboy stories, short stories, kind of establishing the world and the character.
Okay.
And this character is like an Appalachian witch / monster hunter, and he uses the devil's cleaver to do his business as opposed to the big giant handgun.
Okay.
And there's four volumes. The character looks a bit like Solomon Kane. He's got some supernatural background in his origin story, but it's super fun. The artwork is really cool. Like I really like his artwork, and throwing that in with the monsters and the critters and the things and the hillbillies is kind of fun. So worth a check out if you haven't seen it before.
If I check it out. Okay. I've seen it. I've just never picked it up.
I took a flyer on like an online copy, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna be reading more of this." And then I just like inhaled all 4 volumes, so I'm done with it. Like the span of a day and a half, I was like sucking it down. They're not, as with trades, most of the time they're not that long, so it didn't take much to get through them all.
No, they tend not to, but that's okay. That's why we love them.
It's true.
That
It's an
is-
easy read.
yeah.
Don't have to think about it.
No, but
Unlike,
it's been a good week. Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No,
What's-
no.
I was gonna say I've asked you about this a couple weeks ago, but I also attempted Grendel, which it's just it's a nugget of a good idea, but hard read, man. It was a lot of self-flagellation in that. I stopped. Didn't finish that series.
Okay then. Artwork by Tim Sale, I think. Is that correct?
Yes, the artwork is great. Like I said, there's a kernel of a really good idea. It's sort of a reverse Batman. He becomes the villain instead of Batman.
Okay.
But then it gets to attack
Lost in its own mythology.
And I can move in this. Yeah, and I can see he's trying to move his narrative road, and there's 2 more volumes that I haven't read yet, where like they move forward into the future, and I'm just like, I don't know if I'm ready for any more of this. I know how I am. I'm going to ultimately finish it, but the first volume was a lot of the short stories.
Okay.
Like the origin story. Then a bunch of people did little short stories to sort of flesh out some of the mythology, and then the second volume was what would arguably be the Robin character takes over the mantle sometime in the future. No, it's actually not the Robin character. It's the Robin character's daughter. So it's the Devil's granddaughter, right? So it's like two
Okay.
generations removed from the original character. And there's this whole like, and that went long. I mean, the short stories you could read them and put them down, whatever. That was, you know. Then
That's
there's
the
this
short
long
stories.
narrative in the that's how they work. Luckily, I had jury duty one day while I was reading that second volume. I had some thing to do my
How did jury duty go?
civic duty. So,
And how did jury duty go?
and now you're frozen.
Oh, fantastic.
Well, back in the panel, I actually sit in the jury box all day instead of on the wooden bench. This is actually a story because they got to the point after juror number 75, I think it was, you're free to go. And I was like 118. So we're all leaving, right? Stopped to go to the restroom because they hadn't let us out for a while. And I come out and the bailiff is standing at the top of the stairs going, "You just guys, we need you back." Apparently they didn't count right or something. So then we had to go back for another hour while they sorted theirs. And some of the people had gotten out of the building and they were gone. So I'm fairly certain there's a cause for mistrial because the jury was improperly seated. But it was interesting. I sat through the whole process. I knew they weren't going to get to me just based on where I was. But by the time they made some of their strikes and dismiss people for cause, suddenly all of a sudden they were talking to our side of the room. It was like, oh, they're thinking they may get over here now. Great. Because I was the second person in the box. It's like, oh, crap. But they didn't get to us. So I made $6 that day.
Oh, wow. That's $6. And you got to read those books. And I've told you the story. I got through the Joie de Vie and a Warder.
Yeah, it was.
Anyway, when they asked me one question, I'm like, shit, I'm on the jury. The guy next to me is like, how do you know? I got asked one question and I turned to the guy next to me.
Say again?
So I got asked just like one series of questions and was like, I'm on the jury. The guy next to me is like, how is that possible? I'm like, just trust me on this.
It was funny just to listen to, because the county we live in is sort of in between, like, Austin proper and the hill country. So it's an interesting mix of people. There was one guy that looked like the Thin Man from Phantasm had just let himself go. One guy that was clearly trying to get out of jury duty and equated, they were talking about aggravated assault. Clearly, it was one of the charges. Okay. Was trying to equate that with nuclear proliferation, and I was like, "That's interesting. I don't know how you're going to get there. Connect exactly, but you're clearly trying to
wait. What the guy who's trying to get out of it?
It worked. No,
okay. Oh man, you're like totally.
This is not going well. All right. Oh, I think this is a short episode.
Yeah,
let's do this.
So.
Let's call this one a.
Half.
Well, we don't really have much to talk about. Let's not. We got a solid 20. Oh, what's that? Oh, what is that?
That is the Marvel Legends, the Orb.
That is amazing. Where did you find that?
It's in the latest like Avengers series. And I went back and forth on buying it, and then a GameStop had a damaged box, and they gave me a discount. So
He's wearing an Evil Knievel suit.
I know, he's Evil Eye Knievel. And he's got an eyeball for a head. Let me just do that in the round here.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Pew, pew, pew.
The only thing that would make it better was if there was an eyeball on the end of that gun.
Not quite. But it's a little round.
Close enough.
Close enough. Yeah, that's the end of the gun.
Oh. All right then.
It's the orb. I'm
making
surprised.
Mrs. Orb very happy.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, let's do this. Let's just call this off. And then we're going to try go see Spider-Man on Wednesday. And maybe we'll try and do this again later in the week and talk about Spider-Man. And
Okay.
I may move
and
this
I think
computer
sometime-
somewhere
I mean,
else.
I think I'm gonna try and boost the signal down here in my basement. I don't, just to give it a little punch up.
Yeah, I may have to just give up this garage situation. I don't know that it's working. Yeah, I don't have to have somebody come drop a line in the wall so I can just hook directly into the hard wire. But all right,
Do you
so
have- do you have
episode
a booster
60.
anywhere? Do you have a
Yeah, I've
booster?
got a mesh thing right there, but this computer I'm using doesn't have a Cat 6 plug in it for some reason. So I got to figure out how to hardwire to the mesh router thing.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Docking station. Get a docking station.
I have one of those right there. I think
Right.
I'm just missing a wire. I will get
Okay.
that fixed before we talk about Spider-Man. So, and I'll have something on my desk then too. So, episode 60, not exactly what we were hoping for, but we got it done. So, we'll talk about Spider-Man next time. And until then,
Until then,
I'm
I
Bruce.
am the orb. Woo!
Woo!
Hey, look, he's in 3D. If I could ever figure out where the camera. There we go. Whoa.
Woo!